Yo, what's up, guys? I know this is a little bit different than my normal content, but I thought it'd be good to do a video on an updated tier list for PvP when it comes to BDAs, because I've been getting a lot of comments on my stream just asking what do I think, which one is the best, which ones are the most fun, and just like after all the updates that recently happened in the Project Slayer server, like which one is the best pretty much, and which ones are bad. There is a good amount of changes, so I think it will be interesting to look at. And yeah, I might need to redo this video eventually in the future because they are still making a lot of new changes with the balancing team. But yeah, I will just jump right into it now. I made this tier list myself. You might be a little bit surprised at some of my opinions, but yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. So first of all, before I start ranking, I'd like to say I think every single BDA falls within S, A, and B tier. There is a C and a D tier because I plan on adding the breathings to this once I understand them more. But because I only really understand the BDAs right now, I've played with pretty much every single one of them, leveled them up. I'm just going to do the BDAs first. So let's start with Arrow. I would put Arrow in the B tier. It got a buff recently. The problem with Arrow is that it really only has 3 useful moves. Its only real combo like starter would be its ultimate, which is its like best move. Arrow spikes, they come out of the ground, they stun for a really long time. It's a little bit difficult to hit the move, but if you can, it's the best damage and like a free combo starter pretty much. Then it has the piercing arrow, which got a buff, so it block breaks, which is pretty good. And then the arrow knockback is okay for combo extending. Pretty difficult to use to combo start. And then there's the V move, which I don't remember how to pronounce it, but it's just not great. They did buff it though, so I'm gonna put it in the high B tier. If we go on to Blood here, I'm gonna put Blood in the S tier. They did nerf Blood a little bit ago, but I still think it's really, really strong. And even recently they nerfed Blood a little bit. They buffed the stamina gain, which is helpful, but they did nerf some things about the moves. I think they nerfed a little bit of the cooldowns on Bloodshot and everything. But I still think Blood is S tier when it comes to PvP. It's absolutely cracked. I played with some really, really good leaderboard players use Blood. And honestly, a really, really good Blood player, I'm pretty sure, can almost beat anything else on this list. Like a really, really good Blood player can dominate like crazy. So up here we have Ice next. And Ice is interesting now. I'm going to have an A tier, and it's probably going to end up being low A tier. This might be a little bit surprising, but just recently when I fought, and I play in PvP a lot, I've been fighting Ice users, and they just don't seem to be as good anymore. Like, a lot of the BDAs seem to outclass it, even like older ones, which is strange. And I think the biggest reason for this is the counter nerf. They really, really hurt the counter to the point where if you throw it out just randomly, you get stunned for so long if it does not connect. There's been so many instances where an Ice player just kind of throws out the counter randomly, even thinking that I'm going to attack them or someone's going to attack them. And I can notice it, or someone notices it, and they just don't attack, and they just walk up. And then the Ice player gets stunned for. The stun on missing the counter is very, very long. You can be pretty far away from them and close the gap and go in you can go take advantage of them missing the counter. The counter's still pretty good, but like it's only really useful now for if you're getting comboed to get out of a combo. So yeah, they really, really hurt the counter. And then they also nerfed the ultimate a good amount, making it so that if you're far away, you take less damage. So I'd put Ice in A tier now. We have Dream next. Dream did get nerfed, but honestly, I'm still going to put it in S tier. A lot of the S tier BDAs here are the ones where you can get out of combos pretty easily. So with Blood, it has massive damage, is a lot of combo extenders and stuff, and you can get out of combos using the Bloodshot or the explosive landmines. With Dream, even though they nerfed it recently, I'd put it below Blood because not as much damage, a little bit less AoE and stuff. But I would still say it's S tier just because you can start the combos with the piercing flash really well, even though they did nerf the damage on that and the cooldown. It's still a crazy good move. And then the C move right now is just absolutely broken because you can get out of combos with it. You could always do this, but now it's invisible also. So you can just place it down and someone can walk into it. So I would still put Dream in S tier here. Reaper. I think Reaper is the best in the game. I think it's above. Maybe only Blood can rival it right now. I think Reaper is actually the best in the game. Blood might counter it a little bit, but Reaper is just insane. I cannot believe they buffed this. I talk about this all the time. I cannot believe they buffed this BDA. It was so strong before. I fought Reaper users who can just spam dash and you hold block, and if you have high block, you're not really going to get hit by anything. And if you do get hit by something, you can spam dash and you can get out of pretty much any combo in the game unless someone does a combo actually frame perfect, which you're able to do sometimes against a wall or something, but a lot of the time it's going to be really difficult. And even if you do it frame perfect, still, Reaper Dash still lets you get out of a lot of combos very often. And then don't even get me started on the ult. They nerfed the damage on it, but the cooldown is still super low. It's pretty much a free combo extender. It's really hard to counter in the game. The only way to counter it is like to use your own ult on a lot of these BDAs or to go like invincible somehow. Some moves do that. But the ult lasts longer than any of those other ults anyways, so you're still going to get hit most of the time. And then, yeah, they added a block break too. On top of that, they buffed one of the moves damage, and they made one of the other moves block break. And all those move combo extend. So Reaper, I just think, is insanely OP right now. I don't understand that. Shockwave did get a bunch of buffs, and I was thinking maybe S tier here, but I think I'm going to put in A tier. I will put it above Ice BDA right now. Shockwave is really good right now. I almost am tempted to put in S, but I think I'm just going to put in A. Just because it doesn't really have a great way to get you out of combos, unlike these other ones. Shockwave has a bunch of combo extenders now. They buffed a lot of the stuns. They buffed some of the damage. They gave the useless like C move block break, so it actually kind of does something now. And it's in a really, really good place, but it's just, if you're starting to get comboed, it's pretty difficult to get out of it. Even Ice, which I would rank a little bit below Shockwave now, probably has better ways to get out of combos with its counter, but I'm still going to put Shockwave in A. I think a really good Shockwave user is still definitely really, really scary and can rival some of these BDAs. Its only issue is you can't really get out of counters combos very easy with it. Swamp, I'll put in A. I was thinking of putting it above Ice, but probably not going to. It can't get out of combos that well either. That's one of the issues with it. Some of the moves are on really long cooldowns now, like your Swamp Eject and your Traveling Claws. The cooldowns are pretty long and the stamina usage is really, really high. It has some useless moves with the Swamp Puddle. It can counter Reaper a little bit with its ultimate. The ultimate is still really, really strong because you can't do anything. You get hit by it very, very often. It's very hard to block it. You can barely ever block it. So I would say Swamp is pretty strong, especially against Reaper. It's good, but just compared to these other BDAs, you can't get out of combos well. You only have 2 really combo starting moves. The damage is still good, but it's not as good as it used to be. You can block a lot of the moves, and the stamina drain is just really high, so I'm just going to put it below. I would say the gap between it and Arrow is relatively big, but yeah, it's going to be a low A tier here. So then rounding out the list, Tamari. I haven't played much with Tamari. I know they buffed it. I know they got rid of the forearm stun. I know they had 10 plus M1 damage, but I've played against Tamari. It can combo alright. The issue is combo starting with this. It's pretty difficult. You have to use like Scythe or something to combo start. You can just block the attacks a lot of the time. Even if you get in a combo a lot of the time, you can just block the attacks because of the startups and the animations. I'm sure if I fought a really good Tamari user, maybe I could put it above Arrow, or maybe even on the same tier up here. I'm sure if you fought a great Arrow user, you could put it up here too. But the issue is it just doesn't have enough moves. It and Arrow just don't have enough moves to really compete with these, pretty much all these BDAs. They don't have great ways of getting out of combos either. Arrow, you can sometimes get out of combos with Arrow knockback, but Tamari, I'm not really sure. I've never really seen it. So yeah, Tamari is going to be B tier now Before the buffs, I'd probably have it C tier, just because it's so bad, especially with that the animation thing. But now I would put it B tier, just below Arrow. So yeah, this is my overall tier list. I have Reaper, Blood, Dream, Shockwave, Ice Swamp, and then Arrow and Tamari. Put comments down below if you're surprised by any of the rankings. Ice, if you want like more clarification, I'll probably respond to some of the comments down below there. This is really just what I think, what I've seen. I PvP a lot, so I understand the game pretty well in its current state. And yeah, I'll try to make updates or put things in comments if they make any crazy changes. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.